Welcome to TMZ Live. The Crash, the documentary about a girl, Mackenzie, who killed her boyfriend and their very good friend. That has enraged her boyfriend's family.
Yes, and they want some changes, changes to laws because of what they fear Mackenzie, the girlfriend, might be able to do with all the success of The Crash, this
Even though
Netflix
she's behind
documentary.
bars.
Even though she is serving a life sentence for the murders of her boyfriend Dom and their friend Davion. Mackenzie, for those who don't know, was in this car with her boyfriend and their friend Davion. She's driving 100 miles an hour, never takes her foot off the gas, and slams into a building.
And the data is actually the critical point in the case, which is that in the 5 seconds before impact, her foot was down to the floor,
Yes,
and
never
that she never touched the brakes. And you see 0 on the brakes and 100 on the gas pedal. And then the question became, was there an intent to kill Dom and their friend?
Davion, yeah.
And the judge said yes.
Yes, there is. And the person from Dominic's family who is stepping up to try and make those changes happen is his sister, his big sister, Christine Russo, and she is joining us now to talk about that. Christine, welcome to TMZ Live.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Christine, first of all, we're so sorry. It's just horrendous when you watch what happened. It's just unimaginable
and even though,
what your family has gone through here, because it's just gut-wrenching. So why don't we start with this, that Mackenzie is now the centerpiece of one of the most successful documentaries Netflix has ever put up. And what that means is if there are eyeballs on it, there are opportunities there. And it seems like this is where you're triggered.
Yeah, it's absolutely infuriating. It's exactly what she's always wanted. She's laid in, the second after she killed my brother and Davion, within hours of killing 2 young men, she laid in a hospital bed making TikToks and trying to get modeling gigs on Instagram. That's all she's ever cared about. So it is infuriating that this did so well, because she has exactly what she wants. And that's where the petition that I just started to modernize the Son of Sam's law, the Dom and Davion's law, I'm trying to make it so that she cannot profit off of my brother's and Davion's murder, and people like her can't profit. Violent criminals shouldn't be able to profit through social media, donations, interviews, GoFundMes, loopholes, things of the sort. Son of Sam's law needs to be modernized. Things need change with the digital era. It needs updated. She has found loopholes already. She's loving every second of the attention that she's getting.
Christine, tell us about the loopholes that you believe she's found. I know she was interviewed for The Crash, for the documentary. I haven't seen anything that she was paid for that. But what are there other loopholes, as you put it, that you think she's found?
There's donation sites. I'm not sure the sites. I know it's not a GoFundMe, but it's one of them platforms where they've raked in thousands of dollars taking in donations for her right now. There's also...
What do they say those donations are for? Is it for her legal defense?
I'm not quite sure off the top of my head, but she's getting the funds. And I've also spoke to people that she was in prison with, and she's living a completely lavish lifestyle, and they're funded by these people that, she's gotten the attention from the case.
Explain the lavish lifestyle.
I've heard she has 4 or 5 pairs of shoes, $400 hoodies. She has hair wands and hair curlers, waist trainers. I could keep going, but she's got everything she wants in there.
So I imagine there are people who are putting money on her commissary so that she can go and get all this stuff. Wow. That is, I get why that would be very upsetting for you and your family. Have you spoken to any legislators in Ohio there that are on board with this?
I've only started this week. We do have, I think, the Flanagans may have one legislator, but that's what I'm putting this out for and calling out, and that's why I'm doing these interviews. Is please, if anybody's out there, get in touch with me. The Big Sister Unhinged at Outlook.com. But yeah, I need help. I don't do politics. Despite what the Shirillas may say, we are not a political family. That's one of their defenses. But I need help, so reach out.
So I would love to talk to you about the end of that documentary, where her mother says that an email was sent
Mackenzie's mother, yeah.
by Mackenzie to your mom about Dom, and the way I'm doing this from memory, that Dom had threatened to kill them both, and
At
that
some point in the last month before the crash.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up so I can tell the world the truth. So 2 weeks before, approximately, don't quote me, about 2 weeks before she killed my brother and Davion, she was driving her vehicle down the highway where she then they started to fight. She threatened to kill him. She was driving erratically. Dom called his mom for help, and there's witnesses to that were there and heard this. And then Dom had to get picked up from the side of the road. So Kenzie was driving and was saying that she was going to kill him. Now, what Kenzie did, because she's a narcissist, and was covering her tracks because everybody heard the call and knew what she had done that day. Dom, the friends, the family, everybody knew what she had done. So she was trying to save face, and then texted
Oh.
my mom to save face and try to cover her tracks. She's a master manipulator. A lot of things that we're seeing on the internet is a ton of misinformation. That's why I started my podcast, The Big Sister Unhinged, because there's so much misinformation floating around. That's a huge piece. She was just trying to save face and twist the story. She was sick.
Okay, Christine, thank you. There was a text exchange between Dom and Mackenzie that prosecutors released this week, and it did have her referring to him trying to kill her, but there was no context. So it sounds like that's what she was referring to. And you're right, she did just say it as if it had happened and there was no context. So thank you for providing that. You mentioned your podcast. It's called The Big Sister Unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
You started this a few weeks before the documentary's release. Did you start it because you knew the documentary was coming out and you wanted a platform to get your family's side of this out?
Exactly. We've been battling this for about 4 years now. This has always been a highly publicized case, especially in our communities. It's been all over. But I knew that with the Netflix movie, we've sat back for 4 years and have been so helpless, having to watch people say terrible things about my brother and victim blame and slander my family. And, the internet, there's internet trolls. You guys probably know that best, So I sat back for 4 years, as I watch my family sit here helpless. So in wake of the Netflix movie, I woke up one day and I was like, I have to do something to protect my brother's reputation, our family's reputation. I want to do something positive. I started a foundation. It's called the Change the Game for Dom Foundation, where we're going to help underprivileged kids play basketball and sponsor leagues and things. I'm doing a petition. We want to keep Kenzie from getting any attention. I want to bring awareness to true crime, like the families behind true crime, the grief that's behind it, and domestic violence awareness, especially in teenagers, and bring awareness to young men too, that women can be just as evil and dangerous as men can.
So, finally, there are varying views from people who watch the documentary on how they see things. Do you think Dom was portrayed fairly?
I haven't watched it, guys. So
Really?
Okay.
I previewed it before was not, they had me preview it without me knowing. I walked in and they're like, "Oh, you're going to preview it." And I didn't see the final version. What I saw, I was fuming and infuriated, and they did edit some, to my requests and things, but I'm so worried still that people think badly about my brother. But everybody has to realize that this was a real a real case. He is a real person, and Davion too. This is not a story. That these boys were murdered in cold blood. She is a cold-blooded, evil killer, and that I haven't seen the final version, so in a lot of things, it's like I don't know. I just
Just,
yeah,
I imagine just it was too painful,
mhm,
sort of relive. I mean, I'm sure for your whole family to have
yep.
to sort of relive all of this now with all the attention from the
In,
documentary.
in that version you saw, um, and I don't know how much was changed from that, but you know, I'm curious what you thought about the way they characterized the relationship between Dom and Kenzie.
Um, well, I hope that they put out how volatile and toxic she was to him. There is so much more that I know is not in there. So much more that the public doesn't know, that like we know about, his closest friends know about. There is so much more. So she is beyond guilty, beyond a reasonable doubt. But there's a lot more that the public doesn't know. There's a whole, so much more, I guess.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for joining us, Christine, and wish the best to you and your family. As people want to check out her podcast, it is called The Big Sister Unhinged, and you can get that where you get your podcasts. Christine, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
with
guys.
us.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.